everyone, my name is Mags, and in this video I'm going to try and teach people how to knit. It's for beginners, it's not for advanced knitters. You will know all of this that I'm going to tell everyone. So this is the first episode. I will be doing others. This one is a very basic episode where I talk about kind of equipment you might need, wool that you might come across, and how to do a basic knit stitch and make a swatch. So it's purely for beginners, and hopefully throughout the series of videos that I do you will become more proficient at learning how to knit, being able to read a pattern, being able to judge what your tension on your knitting is, and hopefully many other exciting projects. So without further ado, let me get started and start with equipment, wool, and then basic knit. So I hope you will stay with me. I hope you'll find it interesting. It probably will be interesting to young people who've never knitted before. Parents and children can watch it and learn the craft of knitting. So come with me. As far as wool goes, I have a combination here of wool that's like, it's got some yak and mohair in it and some acrylic. That's not what we'll be using today, but that's a kind of wool that you might consider if you're making something like a teddy bear or a little chicken or some kind of toy, or if you want to make a really soft and fluffy scarf or even a jumper. It might be a bit itchy on the skin, but it would make a lovely little teddy bear. And this kind of wool, this one's more of a cotton type of wool, and the thing with cotton wools is they are extremely thin. Very nice. I have made a scarf myself, which is a present. It's got little dangly bits on with that wool, and it does come out really lovely. The other thing is 4-ply wool, which is a basic wool that most people use when starting out. It's fairly easy to use. You're not going to have lots of clicks and nicks and the fibres coming apart, and that's the kind of wool that I will show you how to use today. So that's just the variety of wools that you can get, and there are many more. Right, so the first thing you need to learn is to do a loop for casting on. Easy as pie. Just put your fingers, 2 fingers, put the wool round, tuck it under and bring it forward. And that's your loop. Now don't be tempted to make a knot, because that works against you when you've finished your first row. You tie a bit tighter around your first needle and you put that needle in your left hand. I suppose if you're right-handed you might work differently. Oh, sorry, left-handed. I'm right-handed. So with your left needle you hold the yarn, and with your right needle you pass it under the loop. Then you, oops, let's get it right. Then you knit forward, under, and pass it onto the left needle. So that's 2 stitches you now have. Do it again, over, under, and then put the stitch onto your left needle. Over, the right way, under, and then put that stitch onto your left needle. Do the same for 20 rows. Sorry, do the same for 20 stitches. Over, under, and then pass it onto that needle. Over, under, and pass it on to the needle. Over, under, and pass that stitch onto your left needle. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to look at this through the camera. It's much easier when you're not looking at it through the camera. Over, under, and pass it on to the left needle. Oops. If I can get it on through the lens. And this is just 4-ply, a greeny, goldy, yellowy colour. Feel free to keep repeating this part of the video if you feel you need to get the motion right. Over, under, pass it on, over, under, pass it on. At this point I'm going to just count how many stitches I have so far, because I only want 20 to do the swatch. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I need another 8. So then I will count 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Don't let your stitches get too close to the end or they'll pop off. 18, 19, 20. Now I'm going to count them again in case I've done one too less or one too many. Okay, so we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Perfect. So that's how you cast on. Feel free to take them off the needle and cast on again to get used to it and counting your stitches. So now what we are going to do is we are going to knit the first row. You don't count your cast on row as your first row. You always, after the cast on, you knit the first row. So with knitting, you're doing the same. You're knitting over, oops, sorry, let's do that again on camera properly. You're knitting over, under, but you're not looping it on, you're taking it off onto your right needle. Okay, under, over, onto your needle, over, under, 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 onto your needle. And the one thing you need to be careful of is don't go into your stitches like this. Sorry, let me show you. Don't go to the stitches like that. You always want the back of your stitch past the needle there. Otherwise you'll just be dropping the loop off. There we go. So under, over, onto the needle, under, over, onto the needle, over, under, onto the needle, over, under, onto the needle. So keep doing that to the end. And you're coming to your last loop. There we go, final loop. If you're not sure if you've dropped any stitches at this point, count your row again, see how many stitches you have. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, oops, miscounted there, sorry, let me start again. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So if you've still got 20 stitches, you need to turn your work so you've now got all the stitches back onto a left needle. You're swapping needles over, so that was the left needle, that one, and it had the stitches on, and we worked the stitches off onto this needle. So now you turn them back round, so you have this needle in your right hand, this one in your left hand, and you do exactly the same again. Over, under, take it off, under, take it off, over, under, take it off. Keep doing that to the very end. It's at this point, which I should have shown you when we finished the first row, that you start counting your rows. And we are going to be doing 20 rows. I'm not going to do them all on camera, but we'll be doing 20 rows. Then I will show you how you cast off. And then you'll have your first swatch. And congratulations. Once they're done. Over, under, take it off. 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 To your last one. And if you are concerned, you can count them again to make sure you haven't dropped any stitches. Take your time, there is no rush. Once you get used to knitting, you'll get quicker. So that's 2 rows now of plain knit. That's just very plain knitting, which is what I want you to do for the first project. So at this point we count how many rows. We've got 20 stitches, we want 20 rows. So that will go up to 20 rows. And I'll come back once I have the 20 rows. Okay, we have our 20 rows. Our swatch is complete for now. It's at this stage you cast it off, which I'm going to show you how to do in a moment. And you can measure it to see what your tension is. Some patterns will suggest a specific tension based on how many rows you need to knit. If you find that you're a fairly slack knitter, you might need to knit slightly less rows. Or if you are a really tight knitter, you might need to knit more. Let the tension guide you as to how many rows you feel that you need to knit. But that's something that will come with experience. So now, how do we cast this off? Right, so if you get to this point and you realise you've dropped stitches, the next video I will show you how to fix that. So don't worry about that at the moment. You want to learn how to cast off. And I will say, this could make a really nice scarf for someone. So don't be discouraged about how good it is or how slow you are or how basic it looks, because when I started out, that's what I used to do. I used to make scarves for my family and they liked them. I used to do about 50 stitches, 200 rows, and it would make a nice little scarf that could wrap round. Obviously, to do more elaborate stitches, that will come later once I've taught you how to cast on, cast off, fix problems and read a pattern. Once we get onto the reading of the pattern, that's when you will come to know some very interesting and unusual stitches that can really make your work pop. But at this moment you're just learning how to cast off. So to cast off, you go into your first stitch as normal, you knit it as normal and take it off. Then you go into your next stitch, knit it, and then you get hold of your first stitch and you pass it over that stitch so that you're actually taking that first stitch off. Do the same with the next and all the following stitches. There we go. You're knitting it as you would a normal stitch. You're going under, over, and you're taking that one off. It's fairly easy. Don't get discouraged. Take your time. I don't want to be patronising to people, but believe me, take your time, and then you won't get into any difficulty. You won't end up ruining the work that you've worked so hard on. Pass it over, take it off. Under like you were knitting a row, pass it over. Oops, once I get in, pass it over. It can be tricky, but as I say, take your time, get used to it. Okay, knit in. Don't stand on your yarn so that it goes very tight like I'm doing. Pass it over. I've tightened that one a bit much. Let me get into it. Doesn't want to go in. Oh. Try and loosen it a tiny bit so I can get the net. That's it. See, it can be a bit of a nightmare at times. Don't tighten it too much. Next one. And again, if you need to revisit this, slow it down. I will try and slow some of the parts of the video down if I can work out how to do it. I'm pretty sure I can when I'm editing, but just in case I can't, you can keep looking to get it right. Pass it over and knit like a normal knit, then put into your back loop and pass that over your stitch, and that does a very nice cast off. You see, and you just carry on doing that. I'm going to do it till the end and then I'll come back. Right, so I've got to the very last stitch that I'm going to cast off. So you do exactly the same, knit it, take that one over to there, like that, and then what you need to do, your last loop, you pull it through, cut off the excess. Oops, let me just get my scissors. Whoop. Right, pull your loop through, cut off the excess, pull it all the way through, and that ties it off like that, so you don't have any loops lost or missing or anything like that. So if you've got that far and you've got your swatch, you can go ahead and measure how many 20 stitches are to 20 rows, and that will tell you what your tension is based on the kind of pattern that you have. It will tell you maybe you need, say, well, this, my one, I'll tell you what mine is once I get it on properly. Sorry, I'm blind as a bat. Okay, so this is roughly, so it's 2.5 inches to just over 6 centimeters, and your pattern will advise you how many rows they kind of expect your pattern to be in the way of tension. Don't get hung up on your tension not being exactly what they say. It's a guide to how many rows you need to do. So look at the pattern, look at the rows for sizes. If you feel that you're a really tight knitter, you may want to consider doing more rows. If you're a slack knitter, think about whether you want to do less rows. I have altered patterns in that way, because it does say I'm quite a slack knitter. So that's the first project done. Congratulations, you're a knitter. The next video I do will be to look at knit, stitch, purl stitch and ribbing. You use knit and purl to do a much neater stitch, and ribbing is if you are making something like a hat or a cardigan or a jumper. That's what I will show you next time. And I think what we need to do is we need to work on making our first scarf. So I'll be back with a scarf for you, challenge for you to do. I will show you knit purl stitches. So I'll see you next time, and if you've enjoyed this, please consider subscribing. I hope you've enjoyed it. Good luck with your knitting. Bye.